Kamala Harris voters, I'm going to make you feel good and understand what's really going on. So pay attention to everything that I'm about to lay out to you, because it's going to be all right. And we're going to make it through this. So I want you to listen. Our best days are ahead of us. We are winning. It don't feel like it because we've been battered up. But I'm going to break down everything to you. And at the same time, listen, I keep saying it. I know some of y'all get tired of it, but I got to tell you, get in my group. You'll feel 1,000% better. I have a group called the Clarity Group. It's the only one in the description. It's the only one on the home page. Join my group. You'll feel 1,000% better because I'm helping you decode drama, identify the real data, what's really going on, and develop yourself. This is all about you. This ain't about him. This ain't about Trumpism. They're failing. They're losing. The Trump administration is losing. And they're losing on levels even they can't see because they're so arrogant. And Trump is such a Spengali. He's convinced these people that they're winning, that they're going to be able to do whatever the fuck they want to do, which is a lie. Now, I'm going to dispel a lot of stuff. And when you're in my group, you'll feel 1,000% better understanding that. So let's go through this. The first thing is, it may feel like this. Wait a minute. Why isn't nobody fighting back? Why don't somebody do something? And the reality is there are somebody's doing something. I'm going to point out 3 groups, but then I'm going to talk about the latest of what's happening with those 3 groups. And then you might ask yourself, well, he controls the government. Doesn't he control the government? Can he do that? And again, I'm going to point out some internal and external things happening on the left that clarify what's really happening right here in this talk. So hang in there. Our best days are ahead. I'm not kidding. So here's the thing. The first thing you may ask, well, why isn't anybody doing anything? And the truth is, there have been 3 groups doing something. 23 attorney generals and governors, Democrats, almost half the union, since the beginning. And then there are hundreds of nonprofits. But the 3 main ones I like to mention is the NAACP, ACLU, and Indivisible. Those are the people, Indivisible, that did the NoKingsDay.org. And then the 3rd group are the judges themselves in the lower courts. And many of you, before you say the Supreme Court, the lower courts handle 99% of the cases. He can't kick everything up to the Supreme Court. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that he's lost 70% of those cases. In fact, out of temporary injunctions, permanent injunctions, state injunctions, and national injunctions and actual cases, in the last almost 40 weeks, there have been 200 of them. He's lost over 150 of them. Facts. I'm trying to get you to understand that this guy's losing, left and right. Even Forbes said he's losing by 60% of several key cases. In May alone, he lost 95% of the cases. DOJ loses. And they're going to lose the case with Letitia James, Comey, and with Bolton. They're going to lose him. I want you to understand that he's a childlike mind, doesn't understand what's going on. But it's important for us to understand what's going on our side. We suffer from HOL, and many Americans do. What's HOL? History, operation, and laws of our government. That knowledge. And I don't give you a civics lesson per se in the Clarity Group, but I do tell you the importance of what matters most when these scenarios come up with him in this drama. We decode drama. We begin to look every time he's throwing something up there. Like recently, it's the $200 million he wants from the DOJ. Do you realize that's bullshit? Do you realize all he's doing is getting enough tension from everybody to overshadow No Kings, the shutdown, Epstein a little bit, some gerrymandering. What I want you to understand is this is designed to grab the narrative. In the Clarity Group, I teach about narrative warfare. I got tons of replays you can look at now. And I go into that. What I want you to understand is that we're in a situation right now where it is just absolutely dire to understand what our level of commitment is. What I want you to understand by that is that let's be committed to decoding his drama and identifying real data, like some of the data I just gave you about him losing those court cases, okay? Those three groups are really making it happen. Let me give you an example. The 23 governors are the ones that helped unfreeze Medicaid in the first 3 weeks of his administration when he tried to shut down, literally, Medicaid illegally. When they tried to freeze over $1 trillion, that was both the 23 governors and all of these nonprofits. ACLU's been whipping ass in the court with the DOJ. And there also, you have indivisible.org with the No King's Day movement, who continues the activism. The third group are the judges. It's a civil war going on. In the Clarity group, I have something called Clarity Reports. And under those Clarity Reports, I talk about the 5 different types of civil wars going on, one of which is in the judicial branch. The lower branches, though not all on our side, there's 677 judges across 94 districts and 50 states. They have been ruling both Reagan, both Bushes, and Trump-appointed judges. People have been like, no, this is illegal. You can't do this. And I know some of you are frustrated. You're like, okay, great, all of that, Darren. But why is he doing it? Why is he getting away with it? He's not. Again, knowing the history, operation, and laws. In this case, history. One thing about America is you don't get away with shit. They're coming for your ass, one way or another. Remember when Bill Cosby was accused of allegedly raping people? I think he did it, but, you know, that's my opinion. But he allegedly did that, okay? They got his ass from decades ago. That's the way our government works. If they can't get you now, oh, they're going to get you later, like the candy, now and later. They're going to get you. And that's why he's attacking Letitia James right now. He's afraid because he know that black woman going to get that ass soon as he get out. And if she don't get him, she's definitely getting his sons. His sons are thieving. All of them are thieving. I'll talk later about that in my channel. But they're thieving. And there's 3 things I did. I put a report out there that I couldn't put out here because YouTube won't let me. I put out a report talking about 8 different investigations on Trump. Yeah, the election. But here's the big 3. The big 3 are grifting, deportations of American citizens, and Elon and Doge. That's just clear, blatant, low-hanging fruit. They gonna get that ass. If you don't die first, they gonna get that ass. And I mean, die by natural causes. I'm not wishing death on them. I'm not encouraging anyone to hurt anybody. But I'm telling you, they gonna get that ass. They gonna get them. And that's why I say our best days are ahead. Now, it's gonna take time because who they gonna bring it to now? In these investigations, who they gonna bring it to? Nobody. They own the situation right now. And yes, they're trying to grab the election. I know. Let me quell your thoughts there, because some of you are freaked out over they bought the Dominion machines. No, they bought the Dominion company. The machines are still in the state's hands. The local state stood on business in 2020, and they're going to stand on business now. But what about last time? And I can't say it the way I want to say it because YouTube capitulated with 24 million to this man. But we will say it like this. Yeah, they stole the you-know-what. But it's not healthy for us to be in that right now. Because eventually the people who know that, who are real-time investigators, they're going to get them. But the low-hanging fruit's going to be the grifting, the obviously grifting, the obvious deportation of Americans, and obviously what Elon and Doge did. That's the low-hanging fruit. They're going to get them. Now, regarding the election and some of the stuff, and I got to talk carefully here. Yeah, the math wasn't mathing, and Elon was involved. We know. And Elon's going to jail. There's a whole bunch of people going to jail. Steve Miller, Kristi Noem, Tulsi Gabbard, Hegseth, Definitely, Tom Homan got caught on camera accepting $50,000. He going to jail. But I'm trying to tell you right now, it's not happening right away. We got to wait this out. But the best days really are ahead, not only of their justice, but of a turnaround. Well, Darren, how is it they're not going to steal the election? That's the problem we got right now. I want to point out the HOL, right? People who don't know the history, operation, laws of our government. Well, here's the other one, the ACDs, the alarmists who tell you breaking news but no context. The conspiracy people who are still stuck on both the election, the Charlie Kirk killing, the blah, blah. But it's a wondrous rabbit hole. And now they're on the Dominion sheet. Yeah, they own the Dominion sheet. They're going to take it. I'm going to break that down in a minute. And then the doomsday people. He controls everything. No, he don't. See, he don't control everything because of HOL. The history, operation, and laws of our government. Meaning that he can't just come in. How do we know that? Because there's no way in the world there would have been a Senate hearing on Kash Patel and on Pam Bondi. And that's one of many that are about to come for him. They're about to get it. But I'm trying to tell you, the Republicans are getting more emboldened to fight back because they see the writing on the wall. Let me break it down to you. This man got 169 weeks. Or the way that Elon put it best, he said, he's got 3 years, I got 30 years. Make your choice. It's about to be on. Now, I want to get into, so it's not doomsday. And if he was an autocrat, fascist, dictator king, I wouldn't be able to say this. Let me start talking like this in China, Vietnam, Russia, North Korea. Whoop! All gone. All gone. You're either in jail, dead, or both. Or a combination. So stop calling this man a dictator. We're saying no kings. We ain't saying he's a king. We're saying no dictators, no autocrats. He's a wannabe of all those things. Be careful on your words. Words turn into actions, turn into habits, turn into destiny. You know, character and destiny. So we want to be careful what we place on people. The other thing I tell people, and I talk about my clarity group all the time, I say, listen, if you don't have any money, just say you blessed and highly favored. It's okay. Don't put to the universe that you don't have money. Say, I'm blessed, wealthy, and highly favored in the comments, because it will come to you. When you say things and place yourself in actions. I believe in that. It's not woo-woo. It's real. You don't believe me? Watch, man. Listen, what does Charlie Kirk, Biggie, and Tupac got in common? What do they got in common? You would think they have nothing in common. That's true. Except for one thing. All three manifested their deaths. They talked themselves. Charlie talked himself right into that. No. When you attract that energy, bad energy, it comes around to you. You understand? And what I'm saying to all of you is don't be sweating out over stuff over time. This is over time. We're going to win this. Because the facts that I've given you so far are that we are winning. The ACDs are having you freaking out. You got to take an ACD colonic. Alarmists, conspiracy theorists, and doomsday people. Cut them loose. Cut them loose. Put in the comments, cut them loose. That way you'll feel 1,000% better. We decode the drama. We identify the data. I've given you several pieces of data. The kind of judges that are on our side, the allies that are on our side, the people that are fighting. I want to give you one more piece of data, then I'm going to talk about developing you, because this is about you. The one piece of data I want you to understand is the history of our government. And when I say government, I mean these are the United States of America. And yeah, he's going to try to override state power, but if you do that, you're going to lose your red states. How do we know? How do we know, Darren? Here's some more facts. The governor of Oklahoma spoke out for J.B. Pritzker here in Illinois. I'm in Chicago. They spoke out for J.B. Pritzker because they don't believe in taking over states' rights. No red state in their right mind. Some may capitulate, but not all of them. Some of them red states are bucking. It's 23 states. I guarantee you at least the 23 states leave what? Leave what? That means that there are 27 states that are red, right? I guarantee you that at least a third to half of those are going to buck if he tries to take states' powers. Facts. Facts. And when you got the majority of states on your side and don't need much, all we need is 3. They can fight back. They can pull the government from him. The military is ready. I told you best days ahead. Did you see the way those, take a look, look up that video. Did you see those generals? That's the first time generals have never stood and applauded for an American president. And the reason they had that meeting, military told me, the reason they had that, people in the military, they told me, is that they're communicating among each other. And word got back to the administration. And the communication went like this. Hold steady. Ain't nothing going down. We ain't hurting American citizens. We didn't sign up for that. We did an oath to the Constitution. And though some may be in the Trump camp, I don't think all of them, and I don't think our military is turning on us. It ain't happened like that. They didn't get trained to protect us just to turn on us because of him. He's already been turned down before. The head of the National Guard here in Illinois refused to send troops into Chicago. There was another admiral who refused, who resigned. Y'all saw him resign because he wasn't firing shells over that state highway in California. And look what happened. It almost took out J.D. Vance's staff. It's stupid. So what I'm saying is there's a military function here that's fighting back. There's the lower courts that are fighting back. There's the hundreds of nonprofits that are fighting back. There are the 23 governors and attorney generals that are fighting back. Regionally, the county presidents and parish presidents are fighting back that are blue. And that means that several times there are blue county presidents in Dallas, in Chicago, yes, a blue state, but in Dallas, in most of the major cities, in Florida and in Texas, are Democratic. They're doing what they can. They're fighting back. So I'm bringing this back to those Dominion machines in the election. Don't sweat out that. Because even though they got the machines, it's the local civil servant representatives in every state, not just the 23, which are the ones that saved us from him trying to steal the 2020 election. That's why his own Republican governor in Georgia was like, sir, I can't do nothing for you. He's like, I need 15,000 votes. I say, I understand, but we ain't got them. You lost. You understand? It's going to be on. They're going to try to shut it down, but if they pull that trick, it's on. And for those of you worried about, those of you worried about the martial law, I said since March he's not going to declare martial law, and he hasn't. For those of you worried about Insurrection Act, if he pulls that, he's out the door. Because there's nothing to insurrect. Nothing's happening. There have been conflicts. Like here in Chicago, they shot a woman 5 times. Come to find out through the body cam, she didn't crash into him, into ICE. ICE crashed into her and pulled a gun and said, bitch, if you move, I'll shoot you. And they end up shooting her. I'm telling you, our best days ahead. Here's what you need to understand. They ain't taking Dominion machines because of our local governments, even in red states. Some red states might capitulate, but most are not. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that, because they didn't. They're people who are civil service who going to stand on business. All right? Especially the way he's treated civil servants with their money and firing and wrongly firing them. And he done fucked up the civil servants. Here's the thing that should make you happy too. He done pissed off the intelligence community. You talk about some of the best investigators in the world, the best investigators in the world. You fire a former FBI, CIA, guess what happens? Somebody gets pissed and say, I'm going to start looking in your business. And they're going to find out what's going on. Plus, people in the government are leaking out stuff to people every day. They got the evidence, y'all. It's just a matter of the change of guard. They got it. Here's some more stuff. Since I got an extra 10 minutes, I want to pour this third of the time into you. I said we're going to decode the drama. So when Trump comes up with drama at the end and the beginning of the week, we know it's psyops, it's psychology, that he's trying to basically break down everybody. He's basically trying to tear apart everyone. So they're in confusion and he's in control. He knows that on the left, we don't know, as all Americans, don't know enough of our history, operation, and laws of our government. So you get to thinking that nobody's doing nothing, that he's effective, that he's doing stuff, and the truth is, no. That's why you need to get in the group. That's right there is why you need to get in the group. Facts. The idea is that you need to understand on a regular basis when he's psychologically attacking you, he's doing it because you suffer from a lack of history, operation, and laws of our government. There was somebody in the Clarity group last night who sent me a message. Oh, I'm worried about ICE having missiles and nuclear bombs. I said, first of all, let's break this apart. Okay? They don't have it. They may have somebody who's higher up, maybe around it, but they don't have it. They're saying that. They're leaking that so they can freak you out so you're not thinking about Epstein, shutdown, gerrymandering, and no kings. They're thinking that. They want to terrorize, okay? They're domestic terrorists. The other thing is, I wouldn't worry about that because the main people who control that are the military, and I already told you the military got this. They got this. They're trying to get all that stuff, but they got this. And the good thing that we know as a fact is they're so incompetent. It's not going to work out well for them. They're outnumbered. They ain't heard of custom. They outnumbered. We the people. And here's the other thing I want you to understand. As I'm breaking that down, I'm going to break down a little more here. The Dominion machines are going to lead on to the breakdown of solidarity in the GOP, just like it did in 2020. Because when you go local, it gets different. Whether it be Republican or Democrat, it gets different. You can't just walk up in there local, because there's a lot of local Republicans who are pissed, especially with the big, beautiful bill cutting out all their money and cutting out their medical care. That fucks the Republicans more than anybody. This shutdown that exists helps more Republicans. More Republicans are fucked than Democrats. The poorest states in the union are red. Facts. They use more Medicaid, Medicare. Literally, thousands could die. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions. Slowly or quickly. I also want you to understand this as we go through this. The psychological terror is there, but the way we decode it is that it's misdirection and a lie. I teach that in the Clarity group on a regular basis. The next step is identifying the data. I've given you a lot of data here. Last 20 minutes plus. I told you who's on our side, the three groups. I broke down him losing the majority of cases. I broke down the fact that the military is not going to be running out there. I broke down that our local regionals with the United States, not just 23 states, all of them, states' rights versus Fed rights, that's a war going on right now. But he's outnumbered. He's outnumbered, and that's why he didn't pull martial law and the Insurrection Act. He pulled that shit. That's his last card. That's his last card. It's over. Let's talk, and that's why it hasn't happened, y'all. So I'm worried about what happens. The last part of this is developing a better you. And I want to talk about you for the rest of this. So I think all of you, you've been here this long. You certainly want to hear about you, right? You've heard about the drama, the Trumpism. You've heard about the data. Let's talk about you. Listen, we got 169 weeks to go. And you got to ask yourself how you want to come out of this. Because you will come out of this. Our best days are ahead. There's only so much you can do with your government, whether it be calling your government, reaching out to governors. I've been telling people for the gerrymandering, reach out to those other 22 governors, including mine, J.B. Pritzker, and tell them gerrymander now in case the Supreme Court rules against us. Gerrymander now to get the numbers, okay? Because he's trying to outrule black and brown vote in the South, okay? So they can gerrymander and take our vote in the South. But I also want you to understand something else that's happening. As we go through this process of fighting and reaching out to our government, you can join indivisible.org, NAACP, ACLU. I highly endorse that. That activism is important. The biggest activism you can do right now is sharing this video. Please share this. I should have said it at the beginning. Please share this. Our best days are ahead. And I ask you to do that because that's one of the most powerful things you can do. Share videos. Why? Because these days, and I want to say this to my fellow Gen Xers and to my boomers, these days, democracy comes in the form of social media. And you may not like social media, but if you don't like social media, then you don't like democracy, because people are spinning the narratives online. And I'm encouraging people in the Clarity Group. I'm training people how to psychologically fight back and make a little money at it too. Seriously, I'm teaching you how to fight back. How to fight back. Because you all should be fighting back. You should. You're more valuable than you think. I also want you to understand this. This is an important part about this. We're fighting back the narrative online. Each and every one of you could start a social media without your name on it and share the information that gives you context, not just breaking news. That's the big mistake. Breaking news, conspiracies, and doomsday stuff ain't helping nobody. But if you're sharing this, from a creator, and say, I'm a creator, this is what I think. Even though nobody speaks like me and talks the way that I talk about this stuff, there are other great creators out there who would be great to connect and follow and talk to and see. Some who used to be, super famous, like Joy Reid, and, big used to be, was big names in the media. They still are famous, Don Lemon, big names. And then there are others who are good old regular creators like myself, who used to work on Kamala Harris's campaign, had 30 years branding, marketing experience for big companies and famous people. We all have a background. But the thing is, you got to spread more of that. That's so important. Share that information. The other thing you can do is take care of you. And that's what I'm going to talk the rest of this time about. You. I promised you I'd talk about you. You can talk about you. Because you can take care of those things I just said out there with your Congress, your governors, reaching 22 governors, joining nonprofits, and sharing the narrative. That's one of the most powerful things, because that's what the Republicans do better than us. Share, get active on this social media. If you want to be active at No Kings, that's great. But the biggest thing you could have done at No Kings that you can do now, if you were there, is take your videos and put them out there across the rest of the month. Not just now, not just last weekend, repeatedly. And talk about it. That's the biggest thing online. Marketing. That's the part that we don't have, that Trump is a fucking genius at. That's not Heritage Foundation. That boy is gangster for 50 years doing that. He knows how to manipulate courts, and he knows how to manipulate the marketing narrative. And I teach that in the Clarity Group every Tuesday. But we're going to go super deep, taking it to the next level. See, I started this Clarity Group earlier this year. It was at 1.0, 2.0. We're going to 3.0. And 3.0 involves you. So here's all the stuff I talk about you. Thank you for your patience. I took that extra 10 minutes, but I wanted to recap. Decoding data, decoding drama, identifying data, and dealing with you. You can do all you can out there, but then what are you doing in your home? Chopping it up. I have a group, and the whole idea of this group and the structure is this. You can do everything you can out there, but what can you do for you? Well, here's what I mean by that. No matter what happens to our government, you got a life to get up and live. You gotta find a sense of purpose during this time. Your best days really are ahead of you. But you also got to be mindful. And what I mean by mindfulness is when you get up, what are you thinking? Thoughts become words, become actions, become habits, become character to your destiny. And what does that mean? What does that mean? That means basically what you think about, you end up becoming. Don't believe me? Look at Charlie Kirk. Like I said, him, Tupac, and Biggie manifested their death. I want you to think about what kind of training are you getting on the regular? Because this YouTube free shit ain't working. This is only a fraction of what I'm saying. YouTube don't want this stuff out here. Because obviously, when I try to package it and bring it to liberals, they end up flagging it. They don't like it. That's why I said that's why I have a private group. Yes, it helps me finance doing this 24/7, but the biggest thing is, what are you investing in you? Let's talk about that. So it might be freaking you out, or maybe you're easier because you've been following my YouTube channel, which is great. But what's your next level of that? How do you focus more on you? How do you get more into you? Because it's all about you right now. I'm talking about you for the rest of this. So hear what I'm saying. First of all, are you hydrating? Are you getting enough exercise? I know I'm fat. Understand. Let me call it out. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The elephant is me, and I'm not Republican. I'm a jackass. But here's the thing. I'm trying to tell you, why did they ever use the jackass? I mean, the elephant I can understand. That's a great symbol, side note. But jackass, come on. Use an eagle or a bear or something, damn it. Anyway, I just think about that all the time. Like a jackass? Come on, a lion. Make it a Democratic lion. Roar. Probably be the lion from Wizard of Oz, because sure enough, they need some courage. Here's the thing. Don't get me started on them Congress people. Democrat governors, they rock. They rock. Here's the thing I'm saying to you about you. The biggest thing, and let me take it from me. I got the treadmill over here. I'm working out. I'm stretching. I'm hydrating. I'm going to be much thinner by the end of this administration. I'm going to be healthier by the end of this administration. I'm going to be more in a better mindset by the end of this administration. I'm going to be more empowered emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally. I'm going to make a better me. And it starts with what you're thinking. And again, this is not woo-woo. This is real. What are you thinking? Well, you're worried about things that haven't happened. I see a lot of people go there. Darren, let me give you an example. If the Supreme Court rules against the Voting Rights Act, we're fucked and everything's bad and bye. And that's usually called either a doomsday or an alarmist or a cross between that, right? Here's what I'm saying. Yeah, they could get all fucked up. They could rule as early as January. Then what happens? Well, first of all, I'm saying, what can we do? The only thing we can actually do is reach out to the governors and get them to gerrymander. Newsom already did his job. Now, what else besides that? Nothing. And that might make you feel helpless. But the reality is that we can voice our act. We can get now, here's one other thing we can do. Obviously, get, active and protest in the streets. But here's where we miss it, Democrats and non-Republicans and people who are about democracy. And I'm talking to Generation X and Boomers. Millennials and X and Z know about this. Even the Alpha know about this. You got to put that shit on social media, put your energy out there so the world can see it. That's what needs to happen. We need to grab the narrative. Now, in the back end of the clarity group, I'm teaching you how to do that. But let's take this back to you again. Why are you worried about things you can't control? There are 4 areas. Your priorities, what you control, your lowest priorities, and what you don't control. And you can give to things that are low priority. You can help. But you got to focus on you. If you're not making you better. Let me give you an example. There's somebody I had to have a talk with who came into the clarity group who was wearing a costume. They're a former stroke victim, but they're wearing a costume at the protest this past weekend, and they're in heat. They're putting their health in danger, and they hardly recorded a thing. They're so busy out there, but they're older. And I'm talking to her, and I'm like, listen, you got to, if you're going to do this, the best way to do it is record the moment and market it. That's what my zone of genius. That's why I'm showing people how to do that in the Clarity Group. What I'm saying to you is you got to market it. Now, the reason I'm bringing that back to you in your own home is what can you do that's a priority for you? Take care of your mindset. I train people on how to become a better you in the back end of the Clarity Group. How to focus more on you. How to be about you. It's fuck them, about you. How to deal with MAGA, how to deal with your leftist family members, your right family members and friends. And how to be at peace. How to get rid of toxic people. Do you know there's 7 types of toxicity? And do you know you could get rid of them inside of days? First, you're going to identify them based on how they make you feel. And then there's some things you're going to do that's going to change up immediately in your life, I guarantee you. But it's not something you can hear once. It's not about motivation. It's about your ability to understand habitually what are the things you can do day by day to become 1% better. Like that Kaizen book about cyber riots, how they worked on becoming 1% better. You can do that too. Become 1% better per day. Excuse me, I'm going to blow my nose here. So what I want you to understand is that we are focusing, you and I, on what can we do. I've already told you everything you can do out there. But what can you do in here in your home? You can detoxify people from around you. And there's a great strategy for that. I'm going to blow your mind with that in the back end of the Clarity Group. And I'm adding that in today. That's going to be mind-blowing. And then there are things you can do more for you. When you focus on you and do all you can out there, you're at a greater peace. Do you understand? One of the biggest things people say to me is that I give them a greater sense of peace. We have a live we do on Saturdays, how to empower your peace in the midst of Trumpism. How do you do that? How do you know you're doing what you're supposed to do, all that you could have and should have, and then moving out with the movement and doing it the right way? Remember, I told you, it's not about the movement. Trump is marketing. He's not about movement. He's not trying to galvanize millions of people to come out and speak out. He's about marketing. So while Kamala was out there, and she was doing it right, but if you got her book, by the way, we have a book club we talk about. In fact, it's tonight on Thursday, every Thursday. We're talking about her book, 107 Days in Between the Lines. And what we talk about in this book is how the Biden administration was really blocking her and giving her a hard time. But what I want you to understand, in that fight she was dealing with people, a man who had marketing and a brand name for decades. What she was also up against, because, they expect a black woman just create miracles. God, in the marathon, they expect her to fly. Being black is hard. Being black and a woman make it hard times too. Same thing with brown women. That's why 60% of the Latinas voted for Kamala. Thank you, Latinas. I want you to understand very clearly what's going on. Understand the numbers. Understand the numbers. That's why I'm having you identify the data. What I'm saying to you is that she did the best she could, but at that time, what was happening is he was creating every kind of gimmicky fries and all of this other stuff and things. Meanwhile, she's out moving with the people, which is important, especially given the time she had. But in the future, when she runs for president, she will win. And yes, I do believe that. I actually put money on it on Kalshi. 30-1 odds. And I'm adding money each week. I believe she's going to win this. She's topping the post still. Newsom's cool, but She's top of the poll. AOC, Crockett, cool, but Crockett, that's her mentor. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's happening, Kamala. And what I'm saying to you is that you could run that, but the reality is, let's bring it back to some core things. And I'm going to talk this rest of this time going into that, which is you can do so much, but only so much for the movement. What you got to take care of no matter what is you. You got to guard yourself against toxicity, whether it be in your brain, mitigating it, or whether it be out there. You also got to be very aware of what you're thinking. When you feel like anxiety, in my clarity group, I'm pointing out, decoding data. Because every time he comes up with, ooh, I may pardon Diddy, it's like, okay, Darren taught me that I know this is a case of drama. And he doesn't want you looking at ESG and Epstein, shutdown, gerrymandering, no kings. But then you got to think about yourself. How can I become a better me? What am I doing to become a better person and be at greater peace with myself so I'm not stressing out over this stuff? That's why I train 3 times a week with people. I'm talking about the book on Thursdays, Empowering Your Peace on Saturdays, and Narrative Warfare on Tuesdays. We're also protective against alarmism, conspiracy, and against doomsday. We're getting rid of that. So when people talk about, ooh, ICE is arresting people and beating them up. No, we ain't talking about that. You can find that out on social media. We're talking about, what do we love? We share family pictures, who we are, our pets, real stuff. What's your favorite music? How do you feel good? You understand real stuff. What do you love? That's what we're going to talk about more of, is what do you love? Right now, let's talk about that. Have you been watching movies, TV? Have you been going out? Have you been doing things you love to do? And I know it may be hard. You say, well, Darren, I might be hard up on money or things might be rough. You can go to the park for free. I've been broke. You can go to the park for free. You can go to the library for free. There are movies in the park that are free. If you don't have that, there are movies out there that are free. You can get Tubi on your phone, and it's free. Now, why am I saying all of that? I'm not saying ignore what's happening out there. Do what you can, and then invest in you, your happiness, your peace of mind. All on YouTube here, they got every kind of motivational thing out there. What they don't have combined that we have in the Clarity Group is a specific purpose of overcoming the terrorism that we're being attacked by. But they have great motivational, every motivational speaker you want to hear is out there right here on YouTube and on every other social media. When you surround your mind, and there's a saying with this, I come from the Bob Proctor world. He was from The Secret. He's my former mentor. He passed away a couple of years ago. God bless him. But Bob said repeatedly, and I mean that as in I met him, know him. Usually I have his picture up there. I just hadn't, I'm remodeling, so I hadn't put his picture up there. But Bob said, the mind can't accept negative nor positive. So you might as well fill it with positive. So there's no rule. So you can't accept, let me be clear about that. You can't accept negative or positive at the same time. So you put in nothing but positive and you have no choice but to be in great spirits. Have you ever had a tragedy happen or you're going through a rough time and you found time to laugh? There's that old saying from the poem Quit. He said, if you want to smile but you have to sigh when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Your ability to smile, your ability to take on these rough things and go, this too will pass. You're going to make it. You're going to do well. But come out with a better mindset, emotion, a better physicality. Come out with that. Come out with you. Survive it. Like people survived the pandemic 5 years ago. Survive it. Come out a better person. Come out with a stronger resolve in spite of Trump. That's what I teach you in my group. Because you can follow the latest breaking whatever, but that stuff is not going to take you anywhere. No matter what happens, you got to be right. I also teach you again how to make some money. I got a group called the Money Makers, but it's closed. Hey, you can't get in it. But you can only get in it through being a member of the Clarity Group for an extra money, whatever fee. But I don't have it open to the public anymore. And what I'm saying to you is that I'm teaching people even who aren't into that, at the very least, how do you get activism and get paid for it in the Clarity Group? Because this is what Stokely Carmichael said to me 30 years ago. Kwame Ture, may he rest in peace. He said, a revolution must be marketed. We got to be doing stuff the right way. And there's nothing wrong with money. The problem is, on the left, we villainize capitalism when we should be just villainizing character. Capitalism's like energy and guns. It all depends on whose hands it in. It can be negative or positive. It could be a thief, or it could be the military protecting you or the police protecting you. Good cops. And same thing goes for capitalism. There are many, many billionaires. Out of 900, you think they all like Trump? You're wrong. No, I would say more than half don't. They don't. They don't like what he's doing with the country. They're unsatisfied. You think, well, they're just getting tax breaks. Not really. When wealthy are wealthy, they can move their money anywhere. Anywhere. They can go wherever they want. Here's the other thing that's happening. The thing happening with 22 million millionaires, not all of them are happy with this guy. I'm telling you. In the Clarity Group, I have a Clarity report talking about the 5 different types of civil wars, and one of which is happening among the wealthy themselves. Because there are Trumpers, yes, obviously, but not everybody on that Trump team. And there's some powerful people who are working against Trump, and he knows it. On our side, we do have allies. If I was to say that there's a 4th ally, I would say it's the wealthy. Because some of the wealth, not obviously all of them, but I would dare to say more than half are not happy with this guy. They don't like him, and he knows that. Here's the thing I want you to understand for you. How much are you pouring into yourself? What do you like? What do you love? What are you into? Talk about that in the comments. What are you into? If you listen this long, what are you into? What do you love? What are your favorite movies? What's your favorite music? What's your favorite kind of pets? What's your favorite kind of food? What's your favorite, who are your favorite people in your life? Who's speaking up in your life, talking about your life? Who are you around that's bringing in great motivational things? Sometimes it may be something as simple as a little bird, literally a bird. You might like watching birds. You might love listening to murder mysteries or horror stories. Some of you are horror fans. It's October as we're doing this. You know, I like a good scary movie. You know, it's all right. But the idea is that you want to put yourself in a state of enjoyment while this is happening. And some of you may feel like, no, I can't do it, or you feel guilty doing that. Don't feel guilty. You got my permission. Go for it. Do you. Make yourself happier. Today, do this one thing. Think about 3 things that you love to do. And if you can do them, do them. If it costs money and maybe you don't have the money, find the free version of it. Like I said, my mother loved reading, going to the bookstore. But when we didn't have money, we were at the library, which is great. These days, you got access to so many free resources online, it's ridiculous. You'd be amazed at free content outside. Incredible. I want you to understand that you can take the free things you have and fight back within your mind. I want you to understand that the biggest thing that you can take care of in this democracy is the Democratic Republic of you. You and I got to do for you and I. The biggest thing you can do is mitigate your toxicity. What does that mean? That means cut back the negative thinking you have on yourself. Be mindful of your thinking and be aware of the people around you. I teach you this in the group. I say, listen, who's around you? Who's on your team for real? Think about it. Who's on your team for real? Who's on your side? Who's building up you? I want you to think about that right now. Who are the first 3 people to come to mind? Who's building you? Who are the people who are in your camp when you need help? Don't think about the negative ones. Think about the positive. Think about what makes you smile. For some of you, it may be movies. For others, it may be crocheting. For some of you, it may be thinking about hip hop or country or R&B or rock and roll. Maybe playing your guitar. Now, you remember American Beauty? Yeah, I know, it's Kevin Spacey. He starred in American Beauty. I love that film, but it feels weird watching it now because of all the accusations and stuff that he's accused of. But it was a great movie nonetheless. What he began to do is have a midlife crisis and discover what he loved doing. And it was weird because he basically quit his job, started working at a fast food place. He started lifting weights. He started jogging more. He started getting his life together the way he wanted it, on his terms. He started smoking. He started also with that green habit, that 420 habit. But I mean, he was having fun. He was enjoying himself. He was getting the best out of life versus he was not happy. You got to ask yourself, what are you putting into you that's going to make you happier? I'm a big movie buff. Obviously love movies and music. I marketed $6 billion worth of films. Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Star Trek, Nutty Professor, Road to Perdition, Aaron Brockovich, whole bunch of big films, Fast and Furious, first Fast and Furious films. I marketed that. I did a lot of fun. But the core of me doing that was me loving movies and stories. That's why I think it's so horrible what's happening in film right now. Because they're so busy trying to live off of sequels like corporate. They are not doing independent. But here's the part I love. I try to teach this to my little cousin who's getting into film. And she's thinking AI is going to take it down and do these things. And I say, listen, there's one way you can look at it that way. Or you can look at all the exciting independent things that people can do in music and movies now because of AI. They don't have to go through the gatekeepers. So now some of our best films coming out are going to be films that were made through AI or with the help of AI. And that's great. I think it's fantastic. I think it allows independent filmmakers to go crazy with it when they couldn't. They don't have a big budget. You can put together an independent film now and blow up. Facts. I'm trying to tell all of you in a really cool way that our biggest opportunity to be better selves in the next 169 weeks is here. It's about what you want to do today. What are you doing to make yourself happier? Not just today, but every day. What are you doing to put a smile on your face? Not just today, every day. What are you doing every day to mitigate your toxicity and be able to mitigate the toxic people around you? Not just today, every day. Who's speaking into your life? That's why I have a group. And that's why, thanks to that group, it finances me doing this for free on social media. But I can only talk about so much because YouTube's afraid of Trump. I can't talk about the real shit. Woo! And there's some real shit out there, y'all. When you join, go into the classroom area and go into clarity reports. You'll find stuff I'm talking about that nobody else is talking about like this. I want you to understand that the biggest investment you can start making is in you. What are you doing to help you? To make a better you? Because fuck him. This guy will come and go. He's at the end of his life. And at the end of his administration is coming. These Republicans in the Congress realize their time is going to be short. They done fucked up this past 10 months, and they're losing this shutdown. Everybody knows it's their fault. Not just the left. They see it. I'm trying to tell you right now, the arrogance of this administration is its downfall. I said that 10 months ago. It's true. But in the meanwhile, while you're decoding their data and decoding their drama and identifying their data, what are you doing about you? Like I said, I'm working on becoming thinner, healthier, ongoing mindset work, ongoing emotional work. That's what we focus on. Fuck him. Fuck all that shit. When we make better us, when we decode the drama, when we identify the data, we don't stress. Number one comment I ever had in the past 10 months was that my group helped people remove the terror from their hearts. That's amazing. I'm trying to tell all of you, you do not have to be stressed out over this shit. And if you feel better because of my channel, fantastic. If you're blessed and highly favored, meaning you don't have money, that's okay. There's a premium I charge for it because there's nobody else in the world doing what I'm doing. Even though I do have it on sale right now, and to the end of this month, I suggest you get in the group. Link in the description and on the home page. But beyond that, I'm trying to tell everybody, it's going to be all right. We're going to make it through this. We're going to make it. Like the Jada Kidd song. Ask yourself this too. Do I have toxic people around? I don't. Bob Proctor said something powerful to me over 10 years ago. He said, I was standing right there and somebody asked him at a live event out in Scottsdale, Arizona. He said, first time he ever gone to Arizona, Scottsdale. Nice place. Incredible hills, really. And they said, Bob, how do you deal with being around difficult people? He said, I don't know. He said, I'm not around who I don't want to be around. He said that once I discover that you're not changing and I can't help you, I don't want to deal with you. Who are you around right now that you shouldn't be around? I ain't trying to start no divorces. I'm just saying. Who is not on your team? Who is making you feel drained? Who is making you feel like you wasted your time even having that conversation? There are two groups of toxicity. Drained and make you feel as though I shouldn't have even had that conversation. Some of you are debating with MAGA and debating with leftists who are alarmists, conspiracy theorists, and doomsday. And you're wasting your time. You don't control them, you control you. Like I said to one person in the group, you gonna control your wife, so either she's gonna get it or she won't. There are those who get it, those who don't. Be the one that gets it, work with the ones that do. Facts. You'll live a peaceful life doing what I'm telling you to do. Get inside what you love. Get inside. That's why we talk about in the group. Oh, here's some music. Here's some bands. Here's my kid. Here's the, you know, we're talking about love. We're talking about what we do. We're talking about that. That's our energy to that. We ain't worried about this other stuff. We got stuff to do. We got stuff to do. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Focusing on what matters most. And what matters most is building a better you. Decoding drama and identifying data is just part of understanding what's happening in the country and doing what you can do. In this hour, I've talked to you. I've talked about everything that you can do on that. I've talked about decoding drama and identifying data. But these are some serious questions to ask yourself. What do I love? What do I love? Who do I love? How do I love? Also, what am I thinking on a regular basis? Am I stressed out about shit I can't control? Well, I'm gonna check you real quick in the clarity group on that. You bugging out. No, you don't need to bug out over that stuff. No, you're more valuable than you think. Focus on you. Do you. And when you do you, you can do everything. I'm going to get a little spiritual on you. Through Christ, all things are possible. But the same thing is in the universe. All things are possible. There's an abundance in the world. And when you think about that and bring that to you, I am blessed and highly favored. I'm saying it because when you bring that abundance in your world, when you speak that way into existence, it happens. But if you speak negativity in your world, like Charlie Kirk, like Biggie and Tupac, look what happens. Don't talk death in your life. Speak life in your life. Speak great things into your life. And it's great to be motivated, but motivation ain't the thing that happens. It's habits. And the habits start from your thoughts, words, actions. TWA. That'll fly you where you need to go. And then when you feel better, more at peace, when you discover more of what you love, when you pour into it, and when you start guarding your mind, because you have to. There are people, it's called protecting your spirit. When there are people coming after you to bring drama. I got a relative, I love them, but they were very depressed about something that happened. I said, I'm so sorry to hear that. I love you, but this too shall pass. And their energy just went on and on and on in that way. And I said, I gotta go. Because I gotta protect my energy. I love you, speak great words on you, and I check back in with them later. Because they weren't always that way. But the idea is that if you find somebody who's always bringing that on, you gotta turn it around. You gotta turn it around. You can't go into that energy. That's not the way to go. And people who do that, who get together and commiserate on nothing but negativity, I ain't got no time for that. Neither do you. I've actually kicked people out of my clarity group. Let's talk about people who ain't allowed. People who are alarmists, conspiracy theorists, and doomsday and negative. People who are freaking out. I have kicked people out and banned them and blocked them on social media. I'm like, no. You are not going to come in here like Chicken Little, the sky is falling. No, fuck you. No. You will calm your ass down and follow the protocol. What's the protocol? When you come in, you go to the classroom. You first say welcome. Then you go to the classroom and you decode your drama. Then you identify the data. And then you, number 3, you develop a better you. And yes, I have sections for this. Then you can look at the replays. You can go over to the calendar, book time to jump on with me live in our group every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. You can look at the replays, past replays. And you can look at the clarity reports of all the stuff I'm not allowed to say on social media. The idea is that you're building a better mindset and a better you. That's first. You can't take care of nothing out there if you can't take care of you. Then I'm going to help you decode drama and identify data. And then as far as out there, the number one thing I help you do out there comes from this experience right here, marketing. Number one thing I help you do is how do you get out there on your social media, even if you're anonymous, and fight the narrative. Because it's one thing to be out there activist-wise, if you can do it. It's one thing to do it to say you're doing it. But older people, I'm telling you, the most powerful thing you can do is in the marketing, not in the activism anymore. Activism was last century. My sister, someone who fought with, who fought alongside Stevie Wonder to get a King holiday. And our mother marched with Martin Luther King. The only time our mother went to jail in the 60s was with Martin Luther King. I'm trying to tell you, I come from an activist family. And what I'm saying to you is that in that activism, we have something more powerful today than they had in the last century. The power of the web. And your vocals matter. You don't need 1 million followers, 10,000 followers. Even if you got a few hundred, you got influence. And even if you start up again and start posting things you believe in, sharing content, you will grow. You will grow. As a member of the Clarity Group, I'm even showing people how to use that activism to get them some money. And do it where you finance yourself. Like I said earlier, Stokely Carmichael told me, he said, you gotta market a movement. Market a movement meaning you gotta finance a movement too. So if you're afraid of what's happening with you in Trumpism, having some extra money, that helps too, right? I'm telling you, it's one of those things where you gotta take care of you. Because as we all know, whether they're on the left or right, those Congress people who get $175,000 almost a year, not including all the extra millions of dollars they get in donations, whether it's left or right, they are taking care of them, aren't they? I love you all. Thank you for listening this long. And I hope you get in my group. I hope I've earned your subscription if you're new. And I hope that you have a better, brighter day. And that you invest more time into the betterment of yourself. If you haven't subscribed, hopefully you will. If you think you're the right person for the Clarity Group while it's open, get in. Because it's on sale now. But we're a very protective group. You can't come in with any bull, negative attitude. We don't do that. That's what it's all about. And as far as you focusing on a better you so that you can identify data and decode drama, I wish you all the best to it. And I'll see you on the back end.